Night in the sports show in Golden Rivers. I don't think it could get any harder for leagues that have sides on either side of the River Murray. Golden Rivers is certainly in that particular place, and where AFL Central Murray have put out their deliberations through the week. They were looking to get Golden Rivers back going, and also the Central Murray Swan Hill competition. But what they'd come up with was that because Hay, in the Victorian government's deliberation of the bubble, and the fact that they'd put Hay outside of that deliberation, that is, the Shire of Hay was not going to be within the bubble, that would mean that any games that Hay played were not going to be recognised by the Victorian government. So what they determined was they'd move the Hay games to Moolameen. So August 7th, which is this round that would have been made up, the round 8 games that had been lost from earlier in the season, Hay would have played Mocorna at Moolameen. Quambatook versus Nullawil, Wandella versus Moolameen, and Ultima versus Murrabit. Unfortunately, that's now all tatters because the round is, one would presumably think, lost unless some way they did look at making the season go even longer. Now, August 14, they had said round 9 competition, which would have been the made up from those 2 weeks earlier in the season. And Hay, again, who would have been scheduled for a home game, would have played against Wandella, but this time again at Moolameen. Now, that's also potentially could still be there, but may well still be shelved. We just don't know what the new rules are going to be between the states. Suffice to say that in Golden Rivers, for football to get going again next week is unlikely, given where you've got the border problems, like with the sun ratio. We might have got no crowd situations going last weekend in North Central and other places in Victoria, but where sun ratio didn't play because they believe that they should be playing only with crowds. The circumstances are really difficult now for Golden Rivers. I'd suspect that finals football is likely to start as soon as possible. Now, if that is the case, and what that means then is that the ladder for senior football looks something like this. In number 1 position on top of the ladder, as they have been all year, have been the fantastic side leading all comers, has been the Nullawil side. Now, Nullawil will remain on top of the ladder, 10 games and the 10 wins. Wandella in second, 7-3. Moolameen third, 7-3, but Wandella's much better percentage puts them there. And then Quambatook 6-4, they would make the finals at this stage. If the final 2 rounds are either cancelled because of the lockdown or because of the circumstances of not being able to come out of the lockdown with the situation of the border bubble and so on, if that was to be changed in some way, that would mean that if we got going in 3 weeks' time, we either would delay these 2 games that haven't been played, round 8 and 9, or we'd go straight into finals, so they would be your side. So Hay would miss out on the finals. They're at 5-5 at the moment, behind Quambatook, who are 6-4. So it is an interesting one in senior football terms. But I suppose if you look through the grades of Golden Rivers, the ladders elsewhere in reserves, it's Murrabit top, Mocorna second, Nullawil third and Wandella fourth. Moolameen are at 4 and 6, so they're behind Wandella at 5-5, but have a much better percentage. So Moolameen would miss out, unfortunately, there. Hay also are at 4 and 6, but have a poorer percentage than Wandella, so it might be that they wouldn't win anyway in terms of getting into the finals. 17.5s, the top 4 is like this in Golden Rivers. Mocorna are on top there, 10 wins and 1 loss. 9-2 for Hay, so they're both pretty safe in the whole thing. Moolameen 8-3 and Nullawil 8-3. The next club was Wandella 4-7. So that top 4 is decided. It wouldn't change in the context, except perhaps for Moolameen, who've got a great percentage, but Hay, who've got a poorer percentage but have won 9 games. So I suppose 8-3 to 9-2, it would have been the question there, but that would have also depended on how the results turned out in other games. And then in the under 14.5s is an interesting top 4. Wandella, Mocorna, Murrabit and Ultima. They're 2 games clear of Nullawil. Ultima in 4th place to Nullawil 5th place. So in a way, and percentage there too, I don't think Nullawil would have made it up even if they had the last 2 games to play in 14.5. So they are finals. I suspect that we may well go to finals here with Golden Rivers, but that'll be determined by AFL Central Murray or AFL Central, and they'll give their edict out to Central Murray and also Golden Rivers, and we'll give you information as it comes to hand on the Friday night sports show.